Hello everyone, my name is Saxon Novak. I am a product specialist here at Control Solutions. Today we're going to be going over the installation process for the VFC800 SP and the VFC800 SP data loggers. So every single kit comes with everything that you need to install the device on a fridge or a freezer. We'll start with, we have our digital data logger here, VFC800 SP. We also include with every kit the smart probe. So this is our smart probe cable. On the smart probe cable itself, we do have a probe cap and then a probe seal. For our installation, since we're using a lab grade refrigerator that does have a probe pass through, we will be removing the probe cap and seal prior to our installation. I find this is pretty much the easiest way to get them out without pulling on the probe cable too hard. Take that off, set our probe down here, and then we have our cap and then our seal inside, and we'll set those aside. Next, we have our glycol buffer stand. This will be used to hold your probe buffer in the center of your refrigerator so the bottle does not fall over. The bottle works best when it's upright and vertical, so the stand helps aid in that. The next thing we have is our installation accessories that include our installation zip ties, which will be used to secure this probe cable to the side of the refrigerator or freezer. Our probe buffer bottle, this is pre-filled. That will go inside the buffer bottle stand. And lastly, we do include one spare battery with every single logger. Each battery lasts around 12 months. If there is a low battery warning on your data logger, it will appear as an X through a battery symbol, letting you know it's time to change your battery. And next we have our zip tie or cable tie adhesive anchors. These will be used and stuck to the side of our refrigerator to tie our probe cable down so it's not getting caught on anything or any staff members when they're going in and out of the units. And lastly, we have our LogTag wall mount bracket. This is what's going to be used, and it does include adhesive as well. This will stick to the side or the front of your lab grade fridge or freezer, and this will actually hold the log tag so it remains in view during use. So here on our table is all the installation accessories that we'll need to install it. Now, for those with keen eyes, you may not notice, you do need a calibration certificate. For the purpose of this video, one is not included here, but your package will have a calibration certificate related to just your specific smart probe cable. The calibration sticker will be found on this red tag that will reflect the date in which it was calibrated on and which it expires on. All right, so the first step of any data logger installation is going to be installing the probe buffer bottles into your fridge or freezer. This allows the bottle to climatize to the temperature of your fridge or freezer, minimizing any false alarms or additional time needing to wait because this bottle is still coming down to temperature of the fridge from room temperature. Next, we're going to install this into the center of the fridge or freezer. Now that we have installed our buffer bottle into our refrigerator, we can continue installing the rest of the LogTag external probe temperature recorder. I'm going to begin the installation by locating my wall mount bracket, inserting my LogTag into the bracket, and I've applied the included adhesive. So now I'm going to install my thermometer onto my vaccine fridge or freezer in a location that's visible to me or my staff, but also within a good distance of the probe pass-through port that allows us to pass our probe from the outside of the unit into the inside where we put our probe buffer bottle. Now that we have our data logger and the wall mount bracket placed on the refrigerator, it's time to install and route our probe cable. It is important to note that when installing our temperature probe, we always want to install it probe into the interior cabinet of the refrigerator. So probe first. So we're always installing our probe from the outside of the unit into the inside because this will not fit through most fridge pass-throughs. So that's a tip to make it a little bit easier. That's also why during the unboxing, we took off the cap and seal. And that is to allow us to fit this probe through that pass-through. I'm simply going to connect the probe to our logger. And I'm going to rest the logger into the wall mount bracket, which is set up in a way that allows you to remove and insert the logger within the bracket even if the probe is connected. So now that we have our probe inside the refrigerator, we will install the probe. So with these cables, they're best fished under the racking, and we like to pull them through above and then get them to where we like them, to where they will meet your bottle. Now we reinsert our bottle cap first, and then we install our probe seal next. And then once installed, it will look just like that. The seal will be underneath the lid. And now we simply remove our solid cap, and we'll insert the whole probe assembly into the bottle like so. Once we have our probe buffer bottle assembled, we want to attach the probe cable to our racking. We include extra zip ties so we can hold the cable down to the crossbar of our rack. So as you can see here, we've passed our probe through. We've passed it underneath our shelf racking, up and back into our bottle after assembling our probe cap and seal. And then we've secured our probe to the underside of the racking using 2 of the included zip ties. We've left the excess on just so it's easy to see them currently. And that's the finished installation of the probe itself. We're going to use our included zip ties and adhesive cable anchors. They have slots. You can insert the zip tie in either direction. And then whatever you want to tie down cable-wise, you simply wrap them around and affix your zip tie, and that will give you a good secure mount. After clipping off the excess from our cable ties, installation of our log tag temperature data logger is concluded. It has a user resettable min and max temperature that you can reset daily if you would like to during your temperature audits. It also has a min and max temperature that is auto reset every night at midnight. So I will go through the process of how to reset the min and max manually on this data logger, as well as review the values that reset every night at midnight. So in order to review and reset the min and max on the VFC800 SP, you will simply, from the current temperature screen, you're going to press your review mark button 1 time, and that will show you the max temperature. If you press it again, it will show you the minimum temperature. Those values reset every night at midnight on their own. So to manually clear the min and max temperatures on the VFC800 SP, from the current temperature screen, you simply want to press and hold the review mark button. The device will give you a series of beeps, but once the min and max temperatures remain persistent dashes and the beeping is stopped, that's how we know the min and max has been cleared. And there you see the dashes where the min and max were previously have now cleared out. Upon the next sample, they will return, but they will match the current temperature, and they will continue to change as the recording progresses throughout the day. This is a no software required logger. No software is needed to get your data off the data logger here. And with that being said, we'll get right into the download process. So the first thing we're going to do is open up the protective cover on the bottom of the data logger. We're going to plug in our USB-C cable, and as soon as we plug that cable in, the computer should detect it. The logger will also know that it's plugged in via USB, and what the logger is doing, you may not see any detection on your PC right away. The logger is generating a report file currently, and it's going to be available to the PC to open it how a flash drive would. I can see that our computer just recognized the device as a storage device. Now on my PC, I'm going to navigate to my removable devices, locate the data logger. Our data loggers do show up within your PC as their serial number, so I can match the removable device. In my file browser, it does match the serial number of my data logger. I'm going to double click that. And within the file browser, I have two report files. I'm going to select both of those. I'm going to do a simple right click on those. I'm going to copy them. I'm going to move those over to my documents folder. And I am just going to paste both of those report files. Now I can go back to my data logger within my file browser. And what I'll do is just simply disconnect my data logger from the USB-C cable. And I'm going to take it back, plug it into the probe at the fridge site, and the logger will continue recording. We do not need to stop logging to do the download. Just simply execute the download process as stated and reconnect your logger, and then that is the download completed.